Sean, when you watch Marquette, what stands out about them? Why have they had the success that they've had so far this year?
Well, they're truly one of college basketball's best offensive teams. Analytically, if you look at it, I mean, they've been in and around the top 5 now for the last month. They're as high, I believe, before our game is number 2, and they lead the nation in 2-point field goal percentage. And you just think about that stat. That's one heck of a stat, especially being where our season is right now. They do it differently than you might expect. They drive the ball. They have amazing spacing on the court. And they have 4 players at all times, and sometimes really you can say 5, that can put the ball on the floor and score layups, drives. So the way they score twos is by driving the ball. Played a very fast pace. Our game against Creighton was up and down. I think this one is going to be very similar in terms of tempo. So they play a fast tempo. They're excellent on offense. I think they have done a great job recruiting the talent that they have to fit the style that they play. Play with a lot of energy. They have a number of guys off the bench that I believe come in the game and sometimes really take the game to even another level. Like, in other words, they can get a burst off the bench. They don't drop off much when they sub. I also love their point guard. Kolek, he just does everything for their team, and he has I think, a will and a toughness about him that you really have to respect. Leadership, great competitor. Gets people shots, scores, tough. Plays defense, offense, and he's experienced. And I think, like, if you look at that one key player for them that brings all this together, it's him. So I believe this. I think we're playing one of the best teams in the country, and from an offensive perspective, this will be maybe our biggest challenge to date, guarding them.
After the Creighton game the other night, you spoke a lot about Desmond Claude, how that was his best game at Xavier, and how in many ways he was your best defender. When you're a freshman, I would imagine that the challenge is building trust with the coach and getting to a point where the coach trusts you in certain situations. How much trust did Desmond build the other night?
A lot. And, it doesn't happen just in one game. It happens incrementally over time. And we've seen him through both things that he does in games, but also every day in practice. And I think that we've encouraged Des as a young player to really look at that defensive end as right now something that could really benefit our team. I think for his own career, that's something that Des will have with him for a long time because of his size. He's 6'5", but he's long. And for a freshman, Des is strong too. So some of the things that I think maybe we don't have with our starting lineup, maybe deficiencies, when he comes in the game, he fixes some of those deficiencies. And the smarter that he's gotten on the court, the more experience that he's gotten, we're starting to see him really help us in a game. And I would say both Jerome and Des are going to be really impactful players on Sunday because of what you just said. They both can help us on the defensive end, and when you're playing against a team like Marquette, you need all the help that you can get.
You mentioned Tyler Kolek. You could really make an argument that Sunday's game is going to feature the 2 best point guards in the Big East, kind of for different reasons. Kolek is more of a distributor, a big-time leader, as you said, and then Sule does a little bit of everything, leads the conference in scoring. As crazy as it might seem, can Sule get better? Like, are there things that you're talking to him about, things that you're working on with him that you think that maybe he can even raise it a level?
I do think he can get better. Defense, offense, just being in the right position constantly on defense and, using some of that quickness that he uses on offense, maybe a little bit more on defense. But for the most part, me calling it like I'm seeing it, I have a hard time believing that he could play much better than he's played recently, just because he's checking the box in every area. It's one thing to get hot from 3. It's another thing to have a big scoring night. It's another thing to be clutch down the stretch from the free throw line. But now, like his assist to turnover ratio, he's right below 3-to-1 now. It's more than 2.5-to-1, which for somebody who hasn't played point guard before this year, that's I think quite a testament to his development, his mindset, and how well he's played for us.
You're obviously going to talk to your team about this game and what's important. What's that message going to be? What do you want to impress upon them in terms of what you need to take care of business on Sunday?
Well, I think Marquette challenges us at a level that we haven't been challenged this season, and that includes all the top teams that we've played, simply because of their uniqueness on offense. How efficient they are, how they score, the pace they play at. There's no easy out, and we're going to have to be the toughest, most determined, in some ways the smartest defensive team that we've been able to be in Sunday's game. We have to be able to get stops, especially at home on our court. And I think that defensive mindset and that concentration is going to have to be there from start to finish.
Have you ever competed against Shaka Smart before?
No.
What are the hallmarks that you've come to learn about a Shaka Smart team?
I think Shaka's teams, no matter where he's coached, they always seem to play with great energy, effort, high effort, but energy meaning that, they have a passion for the game. And I think a lot of that comes from who he is as a coach. I'm sure how they practice and, the pace that they play at, whether it's full court pressure, which he's done in the past, does it a little bit at Marquette, or it's the pace they play at with offense. But I think he's one of the best coaches in our game, has been for some time, and he's doing a really, really good job at Marquette. The team they have this season is a special group.